Hello, today we are going to continue the nucleotide metabolism. In last class we have discussed about the purine synthesis by de novo pathway and salvage pathway, and then their regulatory steps we have discussed, such as the preparation of active ribose sugar, and then the deficiency of enzyme HGPRT, which leads to the Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. Now coming to the synthesis of deoxyribonucleotides. This synthesis occurs at the stage of diphosphates. That means this ribonucleoside diphosphate is reduced at the C2 position of ribose, and then it is converted to purine or pyrimidine deoxyribonucleoside diphosphate. The enzyme is same for purine and pyrimidine bases. The enzyme is ribonucleotide reductase, which is an enzyme complex and having reducing equivalents and so other things with them for their activity. And it is functional only when the cells are actively synthesizing DNA. That means the cell is at the stage of S phase, then only this ribonucleotide reductase enzyme is active. This ribonucleotide reductase enzyme consists of two non-identical dimeric subunits, that is R1 for purine nucleotides and R2 for pyrimidine nucleotides. And they needs thioredoxin, which is a reducing equivalent, thioredoxin reductase enzyme, and NADPH for their action. What happens? How the deoxyribonucleoside diphosphates are synthesized. Ribonucleoside diphosphate acted upon by ribonucleotide reductase enzyme, which needs reduced thioredoxin. And this thioredoxin, after reaction, converted to oxidized thioredoxin. It has to be again reduced for further action to continue the reaction. Then it needs thioredoxin reductase enzyme, which reduces the oxidized thioredoxin with the help of NADPH. So the nucleotide reductase enzyme needs thioredoxin, thioredoxin reductase, and NADPH. Regulation is allosterically done. It is inhibited by deoxy ATP and activated by ATP. There is a drug, hydroxyurea, which is used in the treatment of chronic myelogenous leukemia and sickle cell disease. What it does? It inhibits the ribonucleotide reductase enzyme by destroying the free radicals which are required for its action activity. Now coming to the degradation of purine nucleotides, what happens? The dietary nucleotides are not incorporated in DNA and RNA. So what happens to them? So the digestion starts at the level of small intestine, where pancreatic ribonuclease and deoxyribonuclease enzyme converts the dietary nucleic acids to oligonucleotides. Then pancreatic phosphodiesterase enzyme converts them to the mononucleotides. Next step is nucleotidases, which converts the mononucleotides to the nucleosides. Then nucleosidases convert the nucleosides to the bases. And these bases are converted to uric acid by after 3-4 steps, and they are excreted in the urine, and that is the excretory product of the this purine metabolism. Here you see, here is the flow chart, and just concentrate on the red line. What happens? Adenosine, which is deaminated by adenosine deaminase. And remember this enzyme because we have to discuss it in detail later on in later slides. So adenosine is deaminated and converted to inosine. And then inosine is acted upon by the purine nucleoside phosphorylase, which removes the ribose sugar and converted it to hypoxanthine. And then xanthine oxidase comes into the picture and convert hypoxanthine to xanthine, and xanthine is oxidized to uric acid and which is excreted. This happens with the adenosine. And same with the guanosine, but with step just different steps. The first guanosine is converted to guanine with the help of purine nucleoside phosphorylase, which removes the ribose sugar. And then it is deaminated by the enzyme guanase and converted to xanthine, not hypoxanthine. It is guanosine is converted, guanine is converted to xanthine after deamination. And xanthine after oxidation is converted to uric acid. So their purine ring is not broken, but what happens in some mammals which excrete this urate oxidase? This enzyme breaks the purine ring and generate the allantoin which is excreted. So this urate oxidase, recombinant urate oxidase is sometimes used to lower the high urate level. Now coming to the gout, which is a disease of urine metabolism. Why it is, what is the reason of gout? The reason of gout is hyperuricemia, that high level of uric acid in the blood. This hyperuricemia is asymptomatic condition. But when it becomes symptomatic, then it is known as gout. And it may be due to two reasons. Number one, under excretion. Number two, overproduction of uric acid. What happens when there is a high level of increased level of uric acid? It is precipitated and converted to monosodium urate crystals, which are deposited in the joints, that leads to gouty arthritis, deposited in the soft tissues, then it leads to tophaceous gout, and then deposition of uric acid stones in kidney, that leads to gouty urolithiasis. Here come to the gouty arthritis. There are so many types of arthritis. So how will you differentiate them? For differentiation, you have to aspirate the synovial fluid and examine under polarized light microscopy. And then you will see the needle-shaped monosodium urate crystal. That is the definitive diagnosis of gouty arthritis. Now coming to the under excretion of uric acid. From kidney, it is excreted in less amount. That is why the level of uric acid increases in the blood. And this is the most common cause of hyperuricemia. It may be due to two reasons. Number one, inherent excretory defect, or number two, secondary to known diseases. So coming to the secondary to known diseases, what are the diseases? These are lactic acidosis, use of thiazide diuretics, exposure to lead. Lactic acidosis, which is very common with alcohol intoxication. What happens then? The alcohol is converted to lactic acid when there is the high concentration of alcohol in the blood with the enzyme, with the help of enzyme lactate dehydrogenase. And this lactic acid competes with uric acid for the excretion through tubules, and that is why in this lactic acidosis condition level of uric acid in the blood rises. Number two, the use of thiazide diuretics. Here what happens, the thiazide diuretics increases the reabsorption of uric acid through proximal tubules. Number one. And number two, there is diuresis, which leads to hemoconcentration, which leads to the relative increase in the uric acid level in the blood. And that precipitates the gout, attack of gout. Number three is exposure to lead. It is also known as Saturnine gout. This lead is in medieval time known as named after Saturn, that is Shani.